All right. So let's begin here. Let's get underway officially, and we've got a wonderful service planned for you. We've got Suzanne Van Dyke returning. She's been here a few times before. She's such an inspiration to us. She's part of our Masterful Living community, and she is a powerful musical inspiration. We've got Angela Potts Mandaha. She's a member of our staff. She is one of our certified spiritual counselors, and she's a teacher in this community, and she is our pilot and our prayer. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Angela, for an opening prayer.
Okay, thank you. As the pilot, I also just have a couple other clicks to make. Okay. All right. If you'd like to join me to place your hand on your heart and just take a breath and just feeling that smile coming on my face. So grateful to be here. And as Jennifer said, just grateful to anchor into the truth and to feel that being amplified by all of us joining here. So grateful for this space that is transcending time and place, that we can join from everywhere and be together. So grateful that the light is magnetizing us here, and so grateful to receive the transmission, the sharing from Jennifer today and from Suzanne, just knowing their light is so bright that we can receive benefit from being in their presence, and whatever spirit is giving to them will be of benefit to us. So we offer up any possible distractions or anything that could get in the way from just an absolute full, beautiful download of insight and inspiration. We're so blessed to have this time and space to be together. We go forward generously sharing the healing benefits, the healing vibration that we will carry from this time. We let it be, and so it is. Amen.
Amen, amen. Thank you so much, Angela. That was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Prayer is so powerful. It's so potent. It's so life changing. My God. It's life giving. It's life returning. I think many people are not aware of how powerful prayer is and what a power tool it is. It's why it's so important to me to teach prayer in our programs. And I am going to introduce Suzanne here and just tell you a little bit more about her. And as I already told you, she's a very valued member of our Masterful Living community. And she is a very talented and experienced voice, choir, and music theory teacher. I worked in the musical theater for a long time, so music theater just came off my tongue there. Suzanne's first memory of singing was at the age of 5 when she sang her first solo in front of a school assembly. She is spirit led in what and when she sings, and is honored to be singing here today to a community who means so much to her. Being raised as a PK or preacher's kid gave Suzanne a rich and varied background of spiritual music, and she loves singing the very old as well as the very new. And she has seen a great healing in her life through the study and practical application of A Course in Miracles, and from the great support that she gets from this community. That's what she says. So no doubt it's true. So are we seeing your new? I just talked to Suzanne the other day. She was in her car because her home was being painted. Is this the? Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. Love that color.
If you
Yeah.
saw on the other side of the screen, you would see chaos. In fact, when I set up this painting, I was like, I hope there's not a reflection onto the construction that's still going on the other side of this. But I've got
No.
a corner cleared out.
Yes. Well, you look like you're in a sanctuary. We have no idea that chaos is just beyond the lens there. So well done, you.
Thank you.
All right, so it's your turn to give us a musical inspiration, Suzanne.
Well, I have to do a shout out to the other musicians that have guided these services in the past. I kind of went back and looked at some of them. I listened to Faith. Oh, it's beautiful last week. Her music, and on back into September, there was a young girl that sang maybe on the 5th. I can't remember her name. She's with the Agape group, but beautiful voice, just bright lights, all the musicians. So I just feel honored to be in their, in their company. And I'm going to start with a little a cappella, kind of an opener to set our spirits for this. There's a sweet, sweet spirit in this place. And I know that it's the Spirit of the Lord. There are sweet expressions on each face, and I know they feel the presence of the Lord. Sweet Holy Spirit, sweet heavenly dove, stay right here with us, filling us with your love. And for these blessings, we lift our hearts in praise. Without a doubt, we'll know that we have been revived when we shall leave this place. My prayer for you today.
I haven't heard that one in a long time, Suzanne. Beautiful. Beautiful. Can I just say, not to you, Suzanne, but to everybody else, can you imagine being able to just sing a cappella like that? Wow, that would be so awesome. So awesome. Of course, I can sing a cappella, but it's best if no one else is in the room or can hear me. And yeah, I do well with a lot of other people. Yeah, like I used to sing in the Agape choir. You were thinking of Sarah Mayo, who was here at the beginning of September, I believe, and yeah. But that was 150 voices, so as long as I had that backup, I could sing. Yeah. Thank you so much, Suzanne. I love to hear you sing and play too, but I know it's more complicated. All right, so I guess now it's my turn to share, and yeah, just connecting in with spirit here, and remembering what were the instructions for today. One of the things that my teacher, Venerable Dahani Oahu, talks about is the original instructions, our original instructions. And going back to, I also like the idea of going back to the beginning. In the beginning, God, right? In the beginning, God. Going back to that beginning, going back to our original instructions, which I believe were to basically make a joyous noise unto the Lord, to have fun and play and explore and be creative and bring forth all manner of unique expressions of perfection. God's infinite creativity, infinite resources pouring through us, expressing through our uniqueness, and being able to bring that forth into the world, whether it's being able to make a wonderful loaf of bread, or to be able to help children grow to realize how magnificent they are, or whether it's training a dog, something I'm learning to do now and questioning my abilities. And we all have unique gifts and talents, and many times our ego thinks it's not enough. It's not enough. One of the things that I can share with you that I must confess is I love TikTok. I just love TikTok. I love TikTok. Last year, there was a certain person who had a certain authority who was saying he was going to shut TikTok down in the United States. Now, I had never thought about TikTok. Why would I think about it? But when I heard that, I thought, I think now that I might not be possible to get TikTok in the future. I think my ego wants to know what TikTok is now, and so I started getting on TikTok. Now, how many of you are on TikTok? I'm not making TikTok videos. I'm just watching them. Okay, so me and Suzanne. So, for those of you who are not TikTok people, I just have to tell you, you're missing out. You are missing out. Seriously. Lack and limitation is your story. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, but you're missing out on what's happening on TikTok. Doesn't mean you're missing out in life. Of course not. Let's not be ridiculous. But let me just tell you why I love TikTok. I see God's incredible beauty and diversity in TikTok every single day that I look at it. Not that I look at it every day. For those of you who have no idea, people are making videos that I think now they can make them for a couple minutes. But a lot of them are just like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe a minute is a long one. And there's millions of people on TikTok making videos. So there's this massive diversity. Some people are professionals, but most of them are amateurs. So what you see amateur musicians, amateur artists in a sense. You see amateur cooks, and you see amateur, you do see a lot of professional doctors and physical therapists and people who know about hormones and just a whole lot of diversity. But you see people who do incredible things with makeup, with fashion, with dancing, and some of the ones that I just love the most are where it's like three guys who are friends, they have a song that they love, and they made up a dance to it, and it's fun. They're having fun. And you can see and feel their joy. They've rehearsed this probably for hours. It's still not awesome, like in a professional sense, because I worked in the professional theater. I worked with Broadway performers for years. So it's not that, but there's so much joy in it. There's so much beauty and creativity and cleverness in it. And you see people's unique personalities, and you see all kinds of things. Like you might see a video about someone who does customer service for some company that does, makes, I don't know, hearing aids or something, right? And they have a funny story to tell, or they have a poignant, touching story to tell that they can't keep to themselves. And then, of course, there's lots of people who are just pissed off and they're swearing and they're dirty and nasty in their mindset about things. But the great thing about TikTok is when you come across one of those people that's spewing nastiness, you just swipe and it's gone. Boom, gone. But so TikTok, I know TikTok thinks that I'm a very creative black woman or possibly a Native American because this is one of my BLM, Black Lives Matter. One of the I can just like I can heart and follow all these people of color. They have a voice on TikTok. And so that's mostly a lot of what I see. And so when I get a TikTok from someone who's just like, look at me, how great I am in my bathing suit, I'm like, nope, no thank you. I'm not interested in that. But somebody else says, somebody, like sometimes you might see someone who is really overweight, and they are shoved into some tiny little outfit and they are dancing their little heart out. And I'm like, yes, I am following you because you are having fun. You are living a life that is fun. You're having a good time. You obviously love yourself enough to say, I'm going to have fun no matter what. And I love that about TikTok. So I just, and my friend Jesse, he says, the thing I love most about TikTok is how much Reverend Jennifer loves TikTok. So, because I'm always sending TikToks to friends, like I'm going to floss my teeth at night. I think I'll do 5 minutes of TikTok while I'm flossing, and so people get late night TikToks from me. Because you can forward them. You can forward them. And like I have a friend who sends me all funny ones with dogs. So, but there are also on TikTok, there are people who, like, there are these amazing men who go into the parks all over the place and they do things like they make little fairy scenes, like they make little houses out of found things in the forest, little acorn things and little chairs made out of, leaves and things, and they make these cute little scenes and they spend like a few hours on it. Like there's one guy who does that once a week. He goes and he spends a few hours and he makes a really amazing little fairy home scene in a park in his area. And then I just imagine that children come by and they're like, oh my God, look at this, right? How fun is that? And what I love about TikTok is people are inspiring each other. There's a lot of TikToks have somebody there, they found a TikTok that they love and they're highlighting it and they're commenting on it. Like, oh my God, look at what this guy is doing. Isn't this incredible? Who knew? And of course, there's all kinds of hacks. Like you learn how to do all kinds of things. Just practical, like, how on YouTube there are 50 million guys who will tell you how to clean your toaster, or how to install a light switch, and there are so many guys who will tell you how to keep a good lawn, and different kinds of grass, and, add the lime and the fertilizer and the lime in the coconut and drink it all down. All of that, it's just, I love that we live in a world where so many people are finding a voice because of technology. And so people who have beautiful gifts and talents, like somebody who can make the most exquisite little caramels, but they don't want to open a store and they don't want to have their own TV show. They don't need to do that. They're just doing their little thing that they love and putting it on TikTok. And 180,000 people say, me likey, thank you. All over the world. Like I follow all kinds of Asian people and all different. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. If you want to learn how to do things, YouTube and TikTok. Whenever I can't figure something out, I just go right there. Boom. There's Usually some incredibly helpful man who is telling me how to do this, mansplaining it to me in a way that I like. It's just fantastic. So we live in this world of this incredible gift of diversity and beauty. And what I love about TikTok is I can sit on there for a little bit and I can just send love to these people. There's young men who are spending 1,000 hours beating a Native American thing and then just sharing it, their beautiful work that they did. And there are high school kids and things like this. It's quite extraordinary what we can find there. And for me to be able to offer support and encouragement to people who are in difficult places, because sometimes people share things that are very difficult, and to be able to just reach out to them, someone who seems differently abled, who has challenges. I saw one on there the other day that was a young man who was a barista at Starbucks who's deaf, and he went and he prefers not to speak, and he has learned to use like little notes and things like that, and he's found out that hearing people get really mad if he doesn't speak, if he doesn't say anything. He doesn't speak really well, so he doesn't like to speak, is my takeaway from it. But if he speaks and they realize he's deaf, then they bend over backwards to say, oh, thank you, no problem, how are you today? But if he doesn't speak, if he just gestures and smiles and does things like that, people get really mad at him and they yell at him. They attack him because they feel affronted that he's not speaking to them, but they don't know that he's deaf. So how would I know about things like this, everyday experiences that people are having, except through mediums like this? So I'm encouraging you to check out TikTok. It's so easy. You just create a little thing. You don't have to do anything but watch videos. But I'm just telling you, hang in there, because you have to just start liking the things you really like and swiping away the things you don't. Because otherwise, there's a lot of people who find anger and profanity attractive and appealing, and mean-spirited things. So you just have to do the algorithms enough that they don't send you that stuff anymore. All right, so the message here is really that a lot of times the great gifts that we have, we don't even know what they are. We think that our great gifts are, oh, I'm really good at sales, right? I have a friend who's really good at sales, gets the top of the board and things like that. But she's also really good at just listening. She's really good at listening to her friends and really hearing what they have to say with a wonderful love and compassion. And that, to me, is her greatest gift, is that. So she has lots of other skills and talents, but her greatest gift is that she is a listener. She really knows how to listen to another human being and be present with them. It's not always easy for her, but she's learned to be able to do it. She's also learned to be able to say, right now's not a good time for me, so that she can fully show up when she's needed to be present. So we have all kinds of gifts and talents, and we might not put compassionate listening at the top of the list. But let me say that compassionate listening is one of the very greatest skills that we can have. It's true. And one of the things that another friend of mine said to me, who's a minister, said to me one time, when we were in ministerial school, they said to me, so I just got hired to be the minister for this church, and here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid they're going to find out that I don't really like people. People are so much a pain in the ass. I just don't. Like, what if they find out I don't really like people? And I said, no, they won't find out. You hide it really, really well. You don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now, you might, to me, that's funny, right? To have a pastor, a minister who doesn't really like people. But of course they do. They love people, but they don't always have the patience that they'd like to have to be able to not judge every person that comes along. And I remember when I was in ministerial school, in one of my classes, we were talking about how to be a good administrator, to work with a board of directors, to work with your staff, and to work with the congregation from a business perspective as a minister. And at one point in the class, I raised my hand and I said, okay, let's just say, what happens if you are in a situation where you take on a church as a minister, they hire you, you accept the job, and you get into that job and you realize this congregation, nothing but losers. Just nothing but losers. Like, what do you do if that happens? And everybody in my class went like this. Like, what is she saying? What is she doing? But the class was so boring. I just needed to get a laugh. So I said that. And then once I said, I'm kidding. Then everybody laughed. So you folks know me. So you started laughing right away. Not that they didn't know me, but they were taking everything so seriously. And sometimes the great gift that we can have is we can go into an office situation where things are dull and tired under fluorescent lights, and people are taking themselves too seriously, and we can just bring some levity, some lightheartedness. We can just say, hey, who's got a new sweater today? There's Chanel looking pretty hot, or something like that. We can just lighten things up. We have the ability to share gifts and talents that are not just the kind of skills that you can get paid for or that we think of naturally as our skills, but we can start to think of ourselves as we're broadcasting the light in our unique ways. And we can start to really look way beyond where we're thinking what our opportunities are or our responsibilities are. And to start to look around in a higher way at how we can offer appreciation and recognition and lightheartedness. Because many times, don't we often take ourselves so seriously, right? Don't we take, spiritual students so often are taking themselves so seriously. And we're so often looking for what's right and what's wrong, even though we're practicing non-judgment as a high priority in our life. I have definitely been to Course in Miracles study groups and other spiritual meetings and things where someone says something such as, well, nothing is coming to mind right in this second that feels really perfect for it. So I'm going to take something that feels less perfect. But in a spiritual setting where someone might say something like, I don't want to do that anymore. And people would say, don't be so negative. That's a negative affirmation. Can't you say it in a positive affirmation? Can't you make it into an I am statement? What is the positive thing you'd like to say? People correcting, right? Spiritual students correcting each other. And of course, I participate in that all the time because people give me the authority. They'd like me to correct them. But my friends and my family do not wish me to correct them. So many spiritual students start to alienate each other and their friends because they're correcting them, right? So instead of bringing the joy and the light, we're bringing the corrections. We're bringing the, oh, you didn't say it correctly. You're not thinking correctly. And we're reprimanding people in gentle ways, but still we're looking for those are the mistakes. That's what's going wrong. Instead of looking for what's beautiful, what's magnificent, what's precious, we're looking for what's not so good. And like just before this, I was out walking my dog with my friend's dog, and my dog, she loves a mud puddle. I think there are very few things she loves more than a mud puddle, except maybe digging a hole in the mud. Those two things are favorite. Of course, she's a white dog, so you can always tell what she's been doing. It's been raining here, so she was rolling in the mud puddles and having so much fun. There's no way I would try to stop her from doing that, because her job is to go out, run around, and have fun. That's her job. It really is. It's her job, and it's delightful to watch. But if I was thinking she was doing something wrong, it would bum me out. If I was thinking, okay, now I have to hose her off afterwards and she's not going to like being hosed off, I would not be able to enjoy the fun of watching her play in the mud puddle now. So we can take the fun out of our life simply over and over and over again throughout the day by not looking for what is the happy thing right now, what is the sweet little beautiful thing right now. Like I've been in so many situations where somebody says, and I've been this person too, somebody says, yeah, these cookies are good, but did you ever think about doing it this way? It's like, just enjoy the cookie, right? Why not just enjoy the cookie? You don't have to think about what would make the cookie better. Right? Just enjoy this moment now instead of always thinking what would make it better. Because that's the thing about the ego thought system, is it is a system of lack and limitation. Lack and limitation. It's another reason why I like TikTok, is I feel like if I sat on TikTok all day, every day, there would always be more TikToks to watch. It's just an infinite field of TikToks. And so there's something about, like, I'm just going to get a little dip in. I'm just going to see what God is going to show to me today, to appreciate, to recognize. And what I think, one of the things that I'm looking to do more of is to just reach out and appreciate people. Oh, I saw what you did. I really appreciated that. Oh, I heard what you did. I really appreciated that. And to begin to be even more appreciative and recognizing of people's sweet magnificence and encouraging that, because I'd like to see more of that, right? So where you put your attention, that's where the energy flows, and that's where everything grows. So if we would like to see and experience and feel and know more God in our lives, don't we have to look with God's eyes? To me, this is cultivating God's view of this world. And I know Course in Miracles students talk about how God doesn't know anything about this world. Well, it's an illusion, right? So what is there to know about this world? But we're part of God, and we're experiencing this world. In fact, we're generating the world that we see, right? We're projecting the world that we see. So that being the case, let's really set a strong intention right now to focus on what's beautiful, what's magnificent, what is working instead of what isn't. Because as many people say, life is so short. And it is short, and we're going to come back and do it again and again. It's infinite, and it's precious. It's precious. And you never know when you saying something wonderful to someone about what they've done, it will be life-changing for them. It will be elevating for them. It's extraordinary how we can offer that gift to our brothers and sisters. And that, to me, is a way to be truly helpful. So that's one of the things I feel that I can do with TikTok, is I can be truly helpful to people that I will probably never meet, and I may never see them again unless I follow them on TikTok. So I can be truly helpful by just liking what they've done, maybe leaving a comment. I usually don't leave that many comments. And it's a way to contribute to somebody's life and encourage them. And sometimes you'll see a TikTok video where people are crying because they can't believe that, 25,000 people actually like something that they shared. And they were operating before TikTok thinking that they were too this, too that, not enough this, not enough that, that they had something wrong with them, that they're bad, they're not good enough. And now here's a whole group of people that just say, you know what, I liked that. I loved that. That was fabulous. That was wonderful. I'd like to see more of you. I'd like to know more about you. And so to me, we're living in a world now where we're getting closer and closer to really understanding that there is this group think and there is this group mind, and we can really participate it in a most elevating and loving way. And so we can find ways to be truly helpful that we never even thought of before. Never even thought of before. I know many people live in communities where they have local Facebook groups or other kinds of online forums that they can participate in. So I've got one here. It's called the Front Porch Forum. And Front Porch Forum might be something that's all over the place. It's an internet online forum, kind of like the old Yahoo groups kind of thing. And I get a compilation email every day, and people say things like, there was a bear in my yard last night. Be careful, the bears are back. Or has anybody seen, I've noticed I haven't seen any frogs in my yard lately. Does anybody know what's going on? Or people will put in there, they'll say, I have 2 chairs that I don't need. Would anybody like them? That kind of thing. Somebody's looking for a bookcase, or just these kinds of neighborly things. And I like that. And I'm setting the intention to start to just put things in there on a regular basis that say, this is wonderful. I saw this in our neighborhood. I love this. This is wonderful. And to be more appreciative in my neighborhood, because sometimes we're online so much that we're not talking with each other that much. And so we can take advantage of reaching even more people online. So I'm inviting you to see, is there a Facebook group for your neighborhood or for your town? Because there probably is, if you don't know about it. There may be other forums, and you can be that person in there that says wonderful things like, I've been going to this dentist for 15 years, and I'd just like you to know that they do a wonderful job if anybody's looking for a dentist. We can do that with Google reviews and things like that as well. But just to be a more active, good citizen, loving citizen, and offering up appreciation, recognition, and praise, especially for people who don't usually get it. For people who don't usually get it. Maybe there's somebody who makes things out of paper mache. It's just a hobby that they do. But you saw something that they had at the library. You could take a picture of it. I don't know if anybody goes to the library anymore or during COVID, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. That we can do these kinds, we can be those kinds of people. It's so easy to do now with our phones, and we can do it when we've got 5 minutes waiting for the kids after soccer, or we're waiting in line somewhere. We've got a few minutes. We just look around and see, what can I appreciate here? What can I say? This was fabulous. I really appreciate this. This is wonderful. And contribute to other people's lives. in a supportive, caring way. So I'm going to say let's turn within here. Yeah. And let's just give this some thought right now. So I'm going to invite you to think of who is someone who's a friend of yours who maybe you could appreciate them just a little bit more. Go out of your way to do some appreciation. I remember once I bought for some friends of mine who do a lot of service in the Agape community. When I was a part of it, I got them massage gift certificates, and I gave them to them secretly so they didn't know it was me that gave it to them. And that was a really fun thing to do. But it doesn't have to be a gift of money or services like that. It could be a card. Like I said, it can just be an online Facebook thing. What is the friend that you could maybe give a little extra appreciation to? Maybe a friend you haven't connected with in a while, and you could just say, just thinking about you and how much I appreciate you, and give thanks. Give thanks to them. Extend love. This is what Jesus is telling us in the Course, to really be great at extending love. And this is a sweet way for us to do it. It's not threatening. Very simple and sweet. And maybe there's somebody in this spiritual community or another spiritual community that you're a part of that does make contributions in ways that are really helpful, really fun, inspiring, that are appreciated by you. And maybe you could go out of your way to recognize them and thank them and appreciate them and give notice for that. Who is that person? And maybe there's someone in your family that does a lot. I know a lot of people who in their family, they're the ones that are doing the cooking. They're the ones who are helping with folks who need hospital visits, or they're the one in their family who will go and clean the house when that's needed, or they'll pick up somebody from the airport. Maybe there's somebody like that in your family that you could give special appreciation to. And you know what else? With all the online options right now, if you haven't already done it, you can create text groups with your family, and you can start to put appreciation things in there. So you can invite the rest of the family to recognize that person as well. And these are sweet things that we can do as we're coming into the holiday season, preparing to do that. Preparing to be more thankful, be more grateful. We can extend that season of thanksgiving and gratitude to the whole year. Who are the people in your community, the businesses in your community, maybe that have stayed open during COVID, and you've been really appreciative of that? I remember back in March, April of last year, I found myself more than once crying at the cash register in the grocery store because I was just so thankful that they showed up to work so I could buy food for my family, because I was going to the grocery store for my family, not just for myself. And I was grateful for the security guards and the people that helped get everything organized so that people could go in the store, and they counted the number of people, and so there wasn't crowding. To be able to say thank you to those people and really appreciate them from a heartfelt place. Who are those people in your community that you really appreciate? What I know is that gratitude magnifies the good. And sometimes when there's fear, because there's a lot of fear in the world right now. There's a lot of fear. I hear more and more people talking about wondering if this life is worth living. It feels so challenging at times. The fear seems so real, and the problems seem so big. One of the things that I absolutely know is that focusing on what we're grateful for attracts more to be grateful for. That good is magnetized into our lives through our gratitude. The gratitude multiplies the good. And so having an active practice of being grateful and expressing it, not just thinking it, but expressing it, and blessing more. When we're driving down the street, blessing the people we see on the street. Blessing the people who work in the businesses. Blessing the people in their houses. Being a gratitude and blessing activity is being truly helpful. Extending love, extending love. Because our mind is the mind of God, and our heart is the heart of God. Our life is the life of God. And in this world, our hand is the hand of God. So we can use it to bless and to praise, because our word is the word of God. So while you're thinking about that, I'm going to ask Suzanne to give us another song. Here we go.
Thank you, Jennifer. This is a song about love. I've learned so much about love through A Course in Miracles and through this community. This is a song, it's sort of like, it sounds like to me like the journey of discovering what love truly is. So the poet, John Denver, writes this song called Perhaps Love, and it's all the different things that love can be. Perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort. It's there to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memory of love will bring you home. Perhaps love is like a window, perhaps an open door. It invites you to come closer. It wants to show you more. And even if you lose yourself and don't know what to do, the memory of love will see you through. Love to some is like a cloud, to some is strong as steel. For some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. And some say love is everything, some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of pain. Like a fire when it's cold outside, thunder when it rains. If I should live forever, and we will, and all my dreams come true, and they will, my memories of love will be of you. My memories of love will be of you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness, that was beautiful. Love John Denver. Yeah, really great. Really, really great. All right, so now we're going to do that thing we do, which is to go into breakouts. So, in your breakouts, I'm going to invite you to brainstorm and share about who you could appreciate, reach out, make a real statement. And I think it's so good to talk about this because then you're more likely to actually follow through and take action if you talk about it and share in your breakouts. So the breakouts aren't that long, and everybody in the group, it's good for everybody to get a chance to share. So you'll see the clock in your breakout room, and I'm going to invite you to listen compassionately. Practice that compassionate listening, because you never know when somebody's going to say something that profoundly inspires you. And let's gather that inspiration from each other. So Angela is going to open the rooms for us, and then we'll come back. So you'll see your breakout room there. All right. If you can't see your breakout room, look on the bottom bar. You'll see breakout rooms on the bottom bar. You can click there. And let's see, just looking. All right. All right. So, Rosalind, how are you? You want to kick us off?
I would love to kick us off. Thank you for this beautiful service today and the teachings about extending joy in our lives, extending giving. I want to say that Angela, our prayer person today, once sent me flowers for no reason. It wasn't a thank you. I mean, it was a thank you note, but I hadn't done anything that I could say, oh, she's thanking me for that. And it was an extraordinary gift. And Angela's not a rich person, and these were gorgeous flowers. So, yeah, you know, she lives this way. And I wanted to thank her today again for those flowers, and but even more for being who she is. She's this quiet light that is often behind the scenes, helping to make things happen, not saying, look at me, and making things work with her joy and her love and her open heart. And it's contagious. So I want to do the teaching today and acknowledge Angela. Jennifer does a beautiful teaching in her all of her teachings, really, but particularly the one about giving to get is something that everybody learns from. And I also feel there is a beautiful heart law of reciprocity that unless you're traumatized, because when people are traumatized, this particular impulse is often shut down. But there is a natural law of reciprocity. It's not about keeping score or you give and so I'll give. It's that when you've been given, I feel that one wants to give. One just wants to. You smile at a 3-month-old baby, they want to smile back. Or if they smile at you, you want to smile back. And it's not in the law of exchanges. Both are absolutely true. If we consciously give to manipulate, we need to look at that. But there is this other reciprocity that is so beautiful about the human heart. And it's about really receiving. You're then so full. It's really what Jennifer's talking about. Then you want to give more. I have to tell on myself that there are people in my Facebook group, and I don't have a huge platform, but there are people whose names I don't know, and I usually don't accept anybody unless they're connected to Jennifer or somebody else that I know, because then I think it's some kind of strange thing that's going on that I don't want to be part of. But if they know other people that I know, I take them, because maybe they heard me talk somewhere that I didn't meet them in person. But when their birthdays come up, because they're my friend, sometimes I have this shut down place, because I like to write to people something from my heart when they're my friend on their birthday. But if I don't know them, I'm tempted to start to be busy and start to do whatever it was I was going to do. And 100% of the time, I'm pulled back by Spirit and says, look at this person, at least say happy birthday. They may need it more than someone else. You don't know. They asked to be your friend. Maybe it means something. Don't say anything inauthentic. You don't know them, but you can say happy birthday or something to acknowledge their day. And I haven't always willingly, 100% I get pulled back. I always do it. But there is still this urge to move on by this person I don't know. And so today I'm going to skip that block that says I'm going to skip them and just go straight there. And they're the people, that list of people that I don't know are who I'm going to joyfully greet on their birthdays.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And we get to feel good when we do things like that.
Mhm.
I love that about the reciprocity. Yeah. And I find it even with my dog Bodhi, because there are times when I'm smiling at her and she smiles back at me. It's crazy, but dogs do smile. They really do. Because she pulls back her lips and shows me her teeth. And I know that I really suspect that's a learned behavior, that she's like, I'm mirroring you. I'm in the reciprocity here. You're smiling at me and I'm going, yeah, baby. So yeah.
And I also want to say thank you, Suzanne, for your beautiful voice. And I particularly like that John Denver song and the doors that open. And there's one more thing about memory. I've been thinking about memory in a particular way because I've learned that there's a name for something in your brain called the reticular activating system. And that's that your brain, you don't need to remember the name, but you do know that all of us who are in this community know that we're always trying to prove that we're right. And the brain sorts whatever you believe, it sorts for the data that backs that up. And so really the biggest obstacle to remembering oneness or remembering spirit is this forgetting. So I've been spending some contemplative time kind of seeing what would it take to make remembering, because we're really good at remembering insults, shame, nastiness, somebody perceived whatever the story, but not so good at remembering this. It's the first thing that people say. Well, how do I remember? How do I get back there? Is another way to say, how do I remember? So I believe that this reticular activating system can be activated by the hypnotic wake-up cue that's universal, which is 3, 2, 1, remember home. It's a wake-up. And you can do it with tapping. You can do it you can do it when you're doing your Kundalini, or when you're doing anything. You can say 3, 2, 1, remember home. And you can add on there from tapping. We can be creative, but just that willingness and that motivation of trying something, and I don't really believe in trying, but doing something that follows up the willingness will produce the memory that John Denver is talking about, the openness, the open doorway of love. So thank you.
Great insights, great ways to remember and think of those things. Thank you, Rosalind. Yeah.
Mhm.
Faith, would you like to share something?
Yes, thank you, Jennifer. I'd like to first of all call out Rosalind and thank you, Rosalind, because I got an email from Rosalind. She couldn't make the service last week when I sang. And she said, I'm sorry, I won't be able to be there, but I know it's going to be beautiful. So she set that tone. It was so great. Never expected to get that email from her. Then she followed it up because she saw the service and said, I loved your voice. It was so moving, and it was so complimentary. But just to follow that up with an email, Rosalind, I was so moved that you would take the time out of your day to do that. And it was beautiful. And it set my heart stirring that this is what I want to do more of. So I think that I'm going to start making a list of people that I want to reach out to with emails or texts or something on a daily basis, like a couple people a day, just to say, I've been thinking about you, and what a wonderful thing that you're launching your new program, or and just some kind of word of encouragement. It's such a beautiful thing. And I even went to my dentist this last week, and it's a new dentist, someone I found in my neighborhood, and they have been so amazing. And I said to them as I was leaving, really want to thank you. You're so, really appreciate you. And then I got a text from them and said, if you could, give us a shout out on Yelp or something like that, that would be appreciated. And I didn't do it because I got busy. And now it's on my list of appreciation. I'm going to call it my list of appreciation. And really, it's not about thinking about doing it. It's actually taking the time to do it. And that is what Rosalind did. And what a great role model you are for me, Rosalind. I thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And you and Jennifer too, because Jennifer, you're such a giving person all of the time. So much that we have available to just shift our day in just a moment because of the gifts that you're giving. So I really appreciate you. And then there's one more thing. Yes, thank you. One more thing that Jennifer said. It was about, what is the happy, sweet thing right now? And then she followed it and said, don't think about what would make it better, because that I find, I'm sure many of us do that. I'll speak for myself. I'll create something. I'll go, oh, you know what would make this better? Or, you have a beautiful day with someone. Oh, I wish that I could do this every day with them, instead of just allowing yourself to have that beautiful time that day. And if it happens tomorrow or another day or 2 days later or next week, then that will be the day for that. And that's about keeping me in the moment. I can see I do that a lot with, things that I create, but even in the time how I spend my day. I wish I had more time to do this, or I wish this could be longer. I wish I had this beautiful moment could extend, instead of just saying, I'm just going to enjoy this minute. So thank you for that.
Very helpful. Love all that. Thank you, Faith. Yeah, and last Sunday, your voice was very inspiring and uplifting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was just such a joy to be here as always.
Mm. Suzanne, would you like to share something besides a song?
Yeah, when everybody started, everybody has just spoken right into my spirit. Rosalind, that, oh my word, 3, 2, 1 home. Well, I love that. And it was the song and just what everyone's saying, faith. I've done that so many times where, I had the opportunity to encourage someone like on an interview, like Amazon does it a lot. The small business, like you order on Amazon, would you please do a review? And I don't. And now that you've said that, I'm like, I'm going to go on Amazon and I'm going to go and make that right, because, for that reason. But the thing I wanted to share is it's small, but not small. I've prayed for a long time during COVID. Right before COVID hit, I had a renovation lined up to do. And then COVID hit, shut everything down. And so I was left with what I had already come to believe was a drab little space, which is why I was renovating. And so I just started praying, I see this as a bright and vibrant and light space. So my life bird is the heron. And when I see them all the time, they migrate to my areas. They're here a lot. So I wanted to have some white walls to show off, kind of to complement the art that I've got. But there are 5 million whites. Like when you say you want white walls, and so I have struggled. And finally, I just was like, I don't even care. What? I think I'm just going to do this. I went back through the color. I changed the color company, paint company for this certain. A friend was like, you need to try this paint. It's really good. First color I saw was white heron. White heron was the paint color. And I was like, look no further. Right? And that's like, okay, paint color. But it just, to me, it was spirit. It was just spirit. And that spirit is in the paint color on your walls. And I look at this paint with such joy, because I know what it is. And I feel like I found some wallpaper with white herons. So that's going to come in here. And, it's wonderful. So that's all I've got. You're looking at white heron back here.
That's great. Yes, God is in the details, right? They say the devil is in the details. God is in the details. Yeah, beautiful. Angela, how about you? Would you like to share something?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Rosalind, for giving me a shout out. It kind of threw me off, but into my tearful heart space. And honestly, this topic is one of my faves. I feel like, you start out as a people pleaser, you do a little of this, but you morph into the mastery of it. And it is just, I've just always loved people in general, and letting them know I love them has always been something that felt so good. It doesn't mean I do it all the time, but it is kind of like this conversation, this pep rally of sending out all of us to be care bearers out. And this is my favorite thing. And, I get, and I think it goes along with forgiveness, because when you clear the mind, you are told who to call, what to do, or in the moment when your mind is clearer, you are being, because like you also said in your talk today, that let us look upon this world with God's eyes, and you would only see the beauty. So it would just be that, and so, it is one of my favorite things that almost every month in my tithing practice, it is to see if I get any hits. And the month I sent Rosalind flowers, I got a clear guidance, send her flowers in this color, and they should be tropical and they should be big. And I was like, okay. And then I go look for it. And it feels like I'm on this adventure where I am being the hand of God, or the gifter of God. And it's fun to be on that journey. And it is to take this practice into the areas where there's still gloominess, where I still see gloom, or like Faith said, or maybe I'm always looking for, I do look with that woman's, I can see all the spider dust cobwebs. I can see all the things that are not pristine. So it's just that constant redirection to, and I always have the, and now in my new practices, we'll get there, we'll get that, we'll get there, we're getting there, we're getting there. So to stay in the vibration of all is well, and I'm blessed, and how can I continue to bless? So this is one of my favorite conversations to have. So thank you, Jennifer, because you got us all rallied up to go out and be kind, and that's so awesome. And so let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And to share and to brainstorm. And I look forward to them coming back from the breakout, pumped up with ideas of how they can, how they're going to share their gratitude. And yeah, sometimes the world, I lived in New York City for 10 years. I lived in LA for 22 years. And I notice in myself that a lot of times, because I speak so much, so often to a group of people, not just one person, but so I feel extremely heard. Like I just feel, because I share so authentically, I feel like I'm the most heard person in the world. And so a lot of times when I'm out and about, I'm very quiet. I don't need to share. I don't share very much. I tend to stand in the background and just see how I can be supportive and helpful. And but I was just thinking, yeah, I can be more vocal about how I appreciate other people. I was thinking about that today. So I'm interested. Welcome back from the breakout. How was your breakout? Was it good? Yeah. All right. So I'm really interested to hear what inspiration you took from your breakout partners and the folks in your groups, and who you're inspired to thank. So you can just share in the chat, like, oh, I'm going to thank the I don't know, the person who delivers my newspaper. I'm going to go out of my way to be grateful for the person who has that beautiful flower display in their yard and things like that. Who are you going to go out of your way to say something nice to, or to give appreciation to? I'd love to hear about that in the chat. And so here's what's going to happen now. We're going to make some announcements. We are going to have another song from Suzanne, and Angela's going to offer us another prayer. And then we are going to be complete, except I'm going to stay here for a little bit and see if anybody has questions about my Finding Freedom from Fear boot camp based on A Course in Miracles principles that is starting today. Registration is closing, and if anybody has any questions about that. And so that's what we're going to do. And announcements, I think I just made the announcement that Finding Freedom from Fear boot camp is starting, so if you'd like to join, now is the time. And we're kicking it off. It is it's one of the foundational classes that I offer. Many people have had extraordinary results, and it has been the beginning of great and good changes in their life. If you have taken Finding Freedom and you'd like to share something in the chat to encourage others, that's wonderful. And also I can tell you that coming up in November is my spiritual counseling training intensive. So it's an online intensive. I normally like to do it in person. We did it online last year. It was great because people who wouldn't otherwise be able to attend, like Kelly there, she's in Australia, so she was able to attend. She wouldn't have been able to fly in and leave her 6-year-old son. So It's great that we can do it online again this year. So the spiritual counseling training intensive is for anyone. Anyone can take it. And indeed, I've had all kinds of folks take it. People who were attorneys and people in business, people who are teachers and nurses, and anybody who would like to improve their intuition, their practice of being compassionate and kind, their practice of being a good, compassionate listener. We've had grandparents and parents and people just improving their people skills. It's a great way to do it. And of course, it's wonderful for folks who are life coaches and have those kinds of businesses. So you can read all about that on the Spiritual Counseling Training Intensive page. And again, that's online in November. And Masterful Living registration will open in November, and that's for next year's program. We've got a lot of people here from Masterful Living. They've been using it to transform their life, and you are invited to come and do the same next year. All right, I think there's so many free offerings and so many things that we offer at the Power of Love Ministry. I could make announcements for about a good solid hour, so I'm not going to do that. And Suzanne, do you have anything? We always like to give the musical inspiration an opportunity. Not
I'm good. I feel complete, as we say in counseling.
all right, great. All right, so the last announcement I'll make is that your donations are greatly appreciated. Your donations do make it possible for us to do these Sundays with Spirit and to pay the members of the staff. Every member of the staff of the Power of Love Ministry contributes to making these possible, from the web folks to the social media, the emails, the graphics, so many different components to doing an online service, the replays, the member site, all of it. So your contributions fund this Sunday service, and I thank you for your donations. All right, I am going to turn it over to Suzanne for our final song.
I'm going to revisit Perhaps Love, the first verse. Perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort. It's there to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you feel most alone, the memory of love will bring you home. The memory of love bring you home. The memories of love will bring you home. I love you all.
And we love you, Suzanne. Thank you so much. Angela, will you take us home with a prayer, please?
Yes, thank you. Okay, grateful to place our hand on our heart, to again feel the smile, the joy that is with us now as we have been encouraged to go forth and truly practice seeing with Christ's vision, with the eyes of God, to look for the good and to give a word or an energetic appreciation for the beauty that we see in those in our community, our family, even within ourselves. So we're so grateful for this message and this encouragement to go forth, to lift the vibration, to sprinkle sunshine everywhere we go. And we thank you, Suzanne and Jennifer, for the bright sunshine that you brought to us. And yeah, we are the blessed ones to go forth and lift the world. So we let this be, all this goodness, we receive it as a gift, we go forth to freely share it. And so it is. Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. So I'm going to stay and hang out to see if anybody has any questions about finding freedom from fear, just for maybe 10 minutes or so. And thank you for joining us this Sunday. Angela, you can leave if you need to, no problem. Just make me the host. All right. So I don't know if anybody does have a question about finding freedom, but I thought, oh, I'll just hang out for a little while if people do. Anybody? Yes, anybody can go. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. You can always go to gallery view, even if something is spotlighted or pinned. You can always go to gallery view, yeah. Anybody have a question about my boot camp? Becca! Oh, let me unmute you. There you go.
There we go. Thank you. I apologize. I had commitment and I came in late, but I'm here now and grateful. I am excited to be a part of the Freedom from Fear group that you're starting, which I guess is tomorrow or today or
The bonus class is today. Yeah.
okay, that's right. So that starts at 5, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it on the same meeting? The same?
No, you should have
No.
an email with the link in it.
So I was looking for that, and I is that the train is leaving? Is that the one?
No.
No, it's the only one.
I can help you figure that out, so I'll make sure we get you that email. GJ, maybe you can help her.
Oh, good. Someone said I can help you with that. So that's lovely. I'll lower my hand. Do I just disconnect or what do I do? Just hang out?
Yeah, whichever you prefer. You can hang out or you can go. And I see Kelly's on the job there. She's one of our facilitators. She is answering some questions. So people ask, what are the times of the boot camp? So you can pick a time that works for you. We'll have a meeting times a few times during the week and different times, different days. So you can pick the one that best works for you for your small group. And then the course also has once a week with me at 4 o'clock Eastern. You can ask me any question you like. That's a weekly session with me where you can ask any question. And then we have classes are pre-recorded, and there's almost 50 videos that are also pre-recorded. So all these different resources. We have group goal setting session. We have one-on-one session that's very powerful with one of the spiritual counselors. And gosh, we have so many different things, different days of the week, but you don't have to participate in any of them. You can just watch the videos if you like. But if you like to participate with others, we have many options. different days, different times, different things.
Yes, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry. I was just looking to see the message from who is it from? Power of Love Ministry. So it might be Kelly.
no, it's GJ. He's
Oh,
our community support person who's here with us now.
okay. So thank you so much. I don't want to take up anyone's time. I'm just going to do this. Send him the information that he's
Sure.
requesting.
Shirley, do you have any other questions? Anybody else have any other questions about the boot camp? It is essentially it's the basic principles that I took from A Course in Miracles that have completely transformed my life working them, and we get to work them in a small group setting, and it is transformative. It's deeply transformative. People take my Finding Freedom from Fear boot camp over and over and over again because they find it's so helpful, and the components are so supportive. Like we have Forgiveness Fridays, and there are so many different aspects to the program. There's a 400-page workbook. So for people who like to do those kinds of things, we've got them. We've got the one-on-one sessions, so group sessions, sessions with me. And it's what it does is it really helps people to do more than just read and listen, to actually do the work that's deeply healing. Particularly the forgiveness work is so transformative. Yeah.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
You're welcome, Becca. I will see you later.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, Shirley, what you're talking about is a very common thing. I've heard that so many times over the years. That's why we have a money back guarantee. So if you find you get in and you find, you know what, this is not for me, just let us know. We'll refund you. I'm interested in helping people to really do the work. So only you know, are you really interested in jumping in and doing some work with a group of like-minded folks who are feeling like you, resistant, reluctant, but still inspired to go higher, to do something different. Especially, it's a great time as folks are going into the holiday season. And for me here in Vermont, we're coming into the darkest time of the year, and it gets pretty dark here in Vermont. So being able to have resources, tools, spiritual friends, prayer partners, connections, and things throughout the week, as we wish to be able to dive into those, it's very helpful, very powerful. It keeps us from getting spiritually lazy and falling into maybe negative habits, as sometimes can happen. So bringing on breakthroughs is what we're about. Yeah. So I would say trust your intuition, Shirley. And one of the things you can still do is you can book a call with one of the spiritual counselors. And GJ, maybe you can put that link in the chat there, and you could do that and talk with Angela, who was here before, or Linda, or one of the other spiritual counselors who just answer any questions you have. And their whole thing is, because they're spiritual counselors, they're not salespeople. They just would like to help you make your decision for you. And everybody's unique, different. We're all one, but we're unique and different. And so I always trust that people can follow their own intuition. Yeah.
Can I?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Becca. Sorry, I muted you.
Oh, that's okay. I did that, and it was so helpful because I really frightened about the tech stuff and everything. I didn't know how I was gonna do that. I used to be tech savvy years ago, but in these different times now for me, as I've gotten a little more mature, um, I was really concerned how I'm going to do the tech part. And after spending, time doing that exploratory call and going on the video and looking at how it's going to be, it helped so much. It really, it's very important. It was very important for me to do that. So thank you for that.
Oh, I'm glad, Becca. Yeah, we do have tech support that's very helpful because you're not the only one. Lots of people are a little apprehensive if they're not that used to doing Zoom or things on their phone. We understand, and we are used to helping people learn how to do those things. Yeah. Yeah,
It
I
was
think
good.
that one-on-one support is so helpful.
It really was going through the video and seeing how it's going to look and just just an idea. So I wasn't as frozen when I got off of the call. I said, okay, we'll see how this goes. I can try this. But I couldn't have done it without the time that I spent doing that because I really didn't know what I was going to get into. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Good for you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, I'm going to check the chat here. Yeah, thank you for that, Kelly. It is. Our goal is to support people more than they've ever experienced being lovingly supported before. And that is the feedback that we get all the time. I've never felt so loved and supported. And that is one of our goals. So, Shirley, if you're interested, I encourage you to book one of those calls, book it soon, and then you can make that decision, see what's right for you. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. Well, I'm going to go since I've got the class at 5 here, and it's just after 4:30. Great to spend time with you. I'll see some of you later, and mwah, God bless.
Hi, thank you.
Bye bye.